Night of the Creeps is a 1986 horror comedy directed by Fred Decker, starring Jason Lively, Steve Marshall, Jill Whitlow, and Tom Atkins. So, just to preface, this movie is when it came out, Fred Decker wanted to make the most cliched horror movie he could with so many cliches, tropes of all the horror movies previous to that, but doing its own thing, making a lot of one-liners, good action, and making it funny. And he fully succeeded. I just discovered this movie, and this is one of my newest favorite horror movies. This is easily in my top 10 favorite horror movies. I was blown away every step of the way by this movie. With the editing choices, the comedy, the action, the direction, the musical choices, the musical score, the practical effects are absolutely stunning in this fucking movie. But most of all, my favorite actor in this, Tom Atkins. He just fucking destroys every single scene he's in. So the basic premise of this movie is it starts in 1957 or 1956, and they do a lot of good parallels, which really help carry it on. Where it starts with, couple go off to like butt fuck point or whatever, and they're on their way there, and then this comet lands. But on the radio, the guy goes to investigate. The girl stays in the car, and over the radio, you hear that it's like, oh, an escaped psycho came out. He's gone. He's on the loose. And he kills the girl. The boyfriend goes to the comet. A slug jumps out, jumps in his mouth, and then it cuts like 30 years later, some shit like that. And so right before they go, the buttfuck point, or whatever it's called, Tom Atkins plays her ex. So she left him for this other guy, then she gets killed. And so then it's in college in 1986, and it's where these two new nerdy guys, roommates, they want to join this frat house to basically to try and be cool, just so they can hit on the main guys or the president's girlfriend. And so they're like, okay, you go into the morgue of our campus, take out one of the bodies, throw it onto their doorstep, and you're in. They're like, okay, cool, we'll do it. And they end up releasing the boyfriend who was found and cryogenically frozen. Well, the slug gets out, and it does a fun thing where it's like passing through other people. And so it's slowly gaining an army, and it's multiplying and spreading around. And then you meet Tom Atkins, who's the main detective on this case. And he calls the two main characters Spanky and Alfalfa. Like, he's constantly making fun of them and just all this shit. And he's like, okay, Spanky. Spanky's the one who always tells the wild stories, and Alfalfa here's clearly the leader, so thrill me. And that's his catchphrase throughout the movie is, thrill me, kid. Surprise me. So as it goes, all these slugs get loose, and they're causing mayhem. And it's where the kid has to team up with the detective and the girl, and then they're all working together to kill these slugs. And it is just fantastic. I can't stress this enough of how much I love this movie. The action in it's just awesome, and the character arc of this of Tom Atkins, where he's really bonding with this kid, Spanky. He keeps calling him throughout the movie, and it's awesome. And just the dramatic elements of this movie that happens. I mean, it is. There's one scene in it where his best friend gets a slug in his mouth, and he leaves a tape recorded message for the kid, for his best friend, and he's like, "Okay, this is what happened. When they get in your mouth, you can feel it, and then they lie dormant and then they take over you, so you become like a zombie, and then when they're done with you, they come out of your head. Heat is the biggest weapon. So they do this tracking shot where the kid's running, Jason Lively's running to go find him, and they do this really cool pan where you don't see the friend die or anything like that. You just see his body laying there, and then he goes to Tom Atkins and he's crying and he's like, Spanky's, or he's like, Alfalfa's dead. Tom Atkins like, okay, lock and load. You know, he gets a revolver out, loads a shotgun, goes to the police armory, stocks up on all these weapons, and him and the kid go because there's a giant dance happening. So they have to go to the female fraternity to go and save all the girls. And they get there, and the best line in the movie, the tagline for the movie, he goes, well, good news, girls, your dates are here. Bad news, they're dead. And so then, you know, they're fighting all the zombies and killing all these slugs, and spoilers galore even more. How the finale is what just breaks me to my core. I mean, like, this movie's fucking awesome. So they're running around this house with shotgun and flamethrower, just torching these slugs, shooting up all these fucking things. And so Jason Lively and the love interest are just kind of walking through the house, and then they go to the basement, and you see you see Tom Atkins with duct tape on his mouth, and you see a huge corner of the slugs, and he's just with the can of gasoline just pouring it on him, and he's like, okay, and he rips it off, and he's like, we gotta take care of these slugs. You go with your high school sweetheart. I'm staying here. And then the kid's like, no, we gotta go now. And he just goes, 30, 29, 28, 27. And, you know, it just starts counting down. They're like, oh shit. So then they run, and the camera's panning back and forth between the two, just spotlessly as the countdown continues. And then a slug goes for his mouth, and he catches it and goes, I don't think so. And he throws it against the wall. And then and right before he lights it, it pans to Jason Lively, who just goes, well, detective, thrill me. And he lights it just as all these slugs come at him, and just the whole house blows up. Credits. I'm like, whoa. Holy shit. Yeah, a solid 5 out of 5. This is one of the greatest 80s horror movies I've ever seen. And it needs to be spread out so everyone can see it.